the love boat.
He's still going.
Love, exciting and sweet. We're expecting you. Here is the love boat. Soon to be
Run downstairs to the cooler, grab me 3 waters.
I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
I'll go.
Matthew, I don't
I think it
like
was pretty
beer.
good. I think it was pretty good.
Would you like water?
No beer? I'm out of here, bro. You said there would be beer, please. Oh, you mean they had some?
They had some, but they ran out because this
Who
line
drank
was
it?
too long.
Who else? I know it wasn't just you guys. It was you. I didn't, no.
Hi everyone.
Hello, hello.
The other beers.
I'm taking a picture. If I take a picture of you, it's a
Who all's from Connecticut? Raise your hand. Yeah. We don't Who's not from Connecticut? Raise your hand. All right, now fight. First of all, thank you, each and every one of you, for coming out to see us, to this convention. It means so much to us, which Matt will elaborate on later, I'm sure. But really, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. And step back into the light. What are you, a director? You got beer?
Yeah, we'll step back when you get beer.
Yeah, you give me a beer and I'll go in any light you want.
Oh, he's
I'll
roaming.
stand right here.
You want to run the sound?
How's that?
How are you guys
Matt
back
disappear.
here?
There he is.
You guys are Skeet, you were just saying thank you to everyone. That was
Turn the lights out.
I made.
I ain't fucking forget it. Turn the
Sorry,
lights
sorry.
out.
Is Matt talking? I can't. I had something else going on.
I'm sorry it was so hot. It shouldn't be that hot. So, no, it's not really a joke. It's actually, it was too hot today, so I apologize for it being so hot. I apologize for the lines being so long. That was a lot to deal with, so I want you to know we're really grateful.
Hey, I got this side, bro. You go over that side. I got the good side.
I got
gotta turn the light-
bigger side, and we will kick your ass.
No. 1, 2, 3. This side.
I do not have the energy to do that. We will lose, and we'll be way better for it. You guys, how we? Oh, thank God. So here's what we like to do. We like to sort of take these moments to allow you to ask us questions instead of us just talking about ourselves, because we are super bored with ourselves. So our goal in the next 40, 50 minutes is to articulate our lives as clearly as possible so that you have a better sense of who we are as human beings, what this career is like, what this life is like, and anything else you want to know. So we're going to start with the first question. Who has the first question? Yeah, I got you right here. What's your question?
Welcome to the good side, by the way, Matt.
So the question is, what projects do I have lined up? Here's the great part about my life and the horrible part about my life. I started working when I was 21 years old, and you get through stretches of your life where you don't work. So I stopped Good Girls in February, and haven't worked since. As a 51-year-old man with 3 kids and a kid in college, that's a miserable experience. So the funny thing about our lives is that there are times when you're getting paid great, and there's times when you're not getting paid at all. And the great times have to get you through the next opportunity you have to feed your kids. So what you have to know is that these moments, these cons, support people and help us get through our lives. So thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your money, for supporting us, for giving us your love and adoration.
That's what I was trying to say earlier, but
No, I cut it off. So yeah, so I don't have a job. So I may work, I may never work again. You don't know. What are you working on next? Do you have anything?
I don't know next. I've got 3 films I shot over the last year. One by a director you probably know who did Session 9. Did The Machinist, a guy named Brad Anderson that Michelle Moynihan and I did. It's called Blood. Really interesting story. Not really a horror film, but, well, you'll decide, hopefully, if you go see it. And then a couple other films I did. But yeah, I was supposed to, as you know, I had to cancel this at one point to go film in Malta. And then first time in 30 years of doing this, suddenly no film. So they stopped. Like literally I had my bags down, ready to pack, ready to leave. I'd canceled the con in Charlotte, the one here, the one in Manchester that we're going to, and then it all changed in one phone call. So I'm grateful to be here. Malta sounds amazing, but look at all these faces. So, yeah.
What's your question? The mic, because you could be dirty. Jesus. The last scene. Yeah.
That was pretty easy. I was on the floor dead. Oh, you mean that?
That's pretty good. You're funny tonight.
Thank you.
Normally you're just super handsome, but here you are, funny and handsome.
I got dance moves, bro.
So it was a super, so that scene, I think it's scene, there's a number of
Yeah, there was a number that because we shot it for like
Yeah.
7 days of filming or whatever it
And the
was.
crew made t-shirts, I survived the filming of
Scene, blah, blah, 97.
something like that.
Yeah.
It was really hard. So the thing about that scene in that movie is that we were all, especially in that sequence, like on a 10 emotionally. Like, so you're like screaming, you cut me, or you hit me with the phone, dick, all those things are coming, but you're like, you're on a 10 and you're going take after take, hour after hour, day after day. So I always say that I have this very distinct memory of the 3 of us sitting in a row in the living room and with blood on our hands, and it is Caro syrup, it's syrup, and just playing with it as it sticks.
Lost.
And just vegging out. Because it's super hard. But, you know, at the end of the day, the opening sequence of that film and the last 20 minutes are what makes that movie a classic. So, it was worth it.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Here you go. I want to sit down. I just
Dude,
wanna
it
sit
almost
down.
like beeped right in my ear.
And
That kind of thing. All right, you ready?
The question is for both of you guys. Out of all the roles that you guys played, which one was your favorite character to play?
I know Matt's answer. I know Matt's answer.
well, I think you obviously do. Which character do you hate the most?
Which character do I hate?
Well, let's answer her question first, and then I'll ask you a question.
I mean, it's hard to honestly pick a favorite. We get so involved in what we're doing in the moment of doing it, and in the whether it's 2 months, 5 months, 7 months, however long the shooting is, you get so invested in it that one's the best one you've ever played, and then the next time it's that one's the best one you've ever played. So it's really hard to pick, to be honest. I've had some that were easier because they were more akin to me morally and just who I was in my heart and everything. I did one with Kerry Russell called The Magic of Ordinary Days, which I thought was just the sweetest character I've ever played. But I don't know, it's really hard to pick a favorite. That's a really interesting question though, which one?
Which one did you?
You answer the other half of that.
Well, what's my answer?
SLC Punk.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a movie that was, I was the lead, and I'm very rarely the lead in my career. So to be sort of the hero and got to be handsome, and I got to be funny, and I got to be dramatic. There's a moment in that movie where my best friend dies, and we watched it at a con like
Yeah.
2 months ago, and I ended up crying watching it again. So I love that movie dearly. But the movie I didn't like. Here's the funny thing about movies, that they're all, everyone you should know, everyone that ever goes into the creative arts, we are all trying to make incredible shit. Every single one of us we've never signed on to a movie to be bad. We've never tried to be horrible. We've always hoped that the movie was going to be everything it has the promise to be. So as you're writing your tweets and bashing people, just know, they don't want to suck either. They wanted it to be really good. And sometimes it just misses. And even those misses, and I've been in horrible films, you still love them. They're like these little broken dolls that sit on your shelf, and you have nothing but love for those movies.
So you throw them away.
The worst movie I'm in, I can tell you that part. Don't record this part. This is like, well, now I'm not going to tell you.
I think I know this one too.
No, I'm not going to record it. No, I'm not going to, because it's being recorded and people are going to say it. I'm in horrible movies, and that's all you need to know.
No, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
You're amazing.
I may be amazing in horrible movies. I was in a movie called In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale. And that movie is by Uwe Boll, who I love and adore. And that movie is Jason Statham and Lily Sobieski. It's like a great cast. Terrible film. I played, Burt Reynolds. This is a great story. You've never heard the story. We get really, by the way, we get really bored because we get asked the same questions, so we tell the same stories because we're not that interesting. So there's a scene in that movie where Burt Reynolds, God bless his heart. If you're under the age of 30, Burt Reynolds was a huge star. He's the biggest star in the world. He would have told you, like, I was the biggest star for a decade running in the world. Yeah. So there's a scene in that movie, Dungeon Siege Tale, In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale, where he appears on the battlefield as the king. And I'm his evil nephew, Duke Fallow. And he says, I said, we offer no quarter. Meaning, if we catch you, we're going to kill you. And they do that, then they turn around and do the shot of him. And I can say this now because he's dead. So now he's watching me from heaven. And he understands that I mean it in the best possible spirit. He had to repeat it back to me, and he was sitting on this horse.
If the lights go out, I'm leaving.
He's sitting on this horse. We offer no quarter, and he's falling off the side of the horse. And they push him back up. Fuck away from me. We offer no quarter. And that's a wrap on Burt Reynolds, ladies and gentlemen. Burt had like one line in him that day, and then the medicine got him. They sent him home. That was a good question. Give me a horrible story.
I don't know if it's a horrible story, but I played this character like 3 years ago, the guy who kidnapped Elizabeth Smart. And the movie was called...
Whoa!
Yeah. And it took me 2 weeks to say yes to the offer because I couldn't wrap my head around whether it was something I should do or if there was any value in doing it. And I finally, realized that there was a lot of value in it actually. But to play the bad guy who also had 80% of the dialogue is a tough thing to do. And the guy was horrific, a horrific human being. I don't know if any of you know this story but it was pretty atrocious what he did to this young woman. But I realized there were two sides to the story. There was a young woman in that case, who used religion as salvation. She used it on a daily basis while she was tethered to a tree, being raped 4 or 5 times a day, to lift herself up and hold herself up. And I was the flip side of that, a guy who perverted religion to get demonic things for his own behalf. And when I saw that balance, I felt like we kind of live in a world that's like that. And I felt like I had to represent at least one half of that. And it gave me enough legs to get through what this guy was doing on a daily basis.
Well, that got dark.
Well, at least the lights didn't go out.
That's right. Were you proud of the performance afterwards?
Yeah, I was. I mean, the fun part, as odd as it sounds, was to keep an audience interested in somebody this horrible who literally has to carry the film. I toyed around with the physicality of it, so I felt like I was Mick Jagger on stage. This guy had such an elevated ego that the physicality, like the looseness of this guy and his snake-like menace, I had a good time with, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That was a good question. Oh, it's out. It's in. It's out.
It's his turn.
All right, who has a question?
So, what does it mean for you to have starred in a film that was so influential to us when we were younger, and now be in films that are influential to our kids?
If you couldn't hear him on the other, hello.
Watch out for the speaker.
Yeah, if you couldn't hear him,
You're out of range.
if you couldn't hear him, that's Burt Reynolds. I'm gonna move around. If you couldn't hear him, he basically asked what it's like to be so damn good looking in real life. Thank you for asking, sir. That's a George Clooney joke that I steal. So the question was, what's it like to be in a movie that we grew up on when we were kids as young men and young women, and then still have films that are resonating with people today? Is that right?
Our kids.
Your kids. My kids give 0 fucks. Sorry, you should not hear that kind of language. What shirt am I wearing, by the way? I stole a shirt.
Syndrome.
Okay, good. Here's the thing. Here's what you have to know. Fame means nothing to me. I've said this before in Colin, so if you've heard this, you'll excuse me. What I do, I have a weird job. I hit a mark, I say some lines, I put on makeup and make the right face. At the end of the day, that's my job. When I started my career, I wanted to be super famous. I wanted to be Leonardo DiCaprio famous. I wanted to change the world. I wanted to make gazillions of dollars, and I want to be the best actor of a generation. I still want to be the best actor of a generation. But the transaction of fame to me doesn't mean anything. What is powerful is when you can hold a kid who's a gay kid in Connecticut, a trans kid in Oklahoma, somebody struggling with drugs or addiction, somebody who's been beaten, somebody who self-abuses, and you can hold them and change their life in a matter of 2 minutes. That's the best part about this job. So for a long time, thank you for clapping. So for a long time, I thought this was about me. And the reality is it actually is about everyone that you touch. So, to me, I don't care, my films don't matter to me, they're my job. What matters to me is how they impact people. SLC Punk, if I walked down the street today in Greenwich Village, in Connecticut, in New York, some kid found that movie when they needed the movie, and that is the best part of my job. Right? But to me, it's just a job. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I love my job, but I love my job because the impact it has on other people, not because of what it does for me. It sounds altruistic, and I'm not saying I wanted to be super big. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm so awesome. But that's the best. That's what ends up being the best part.
You are so awesome, by the way.
No, stop.
You are.
Say that.
I do these with him all the time. Not all the time, but 5, 6, 7 times a year maybe. And he inspires me. So you are awesome.
right, next question. Thank you for that question. That was also another good
I got one
question.
right here.
Thank you.
So my question is what was your favorite moment filming with Luke Perry?
That's a tough one. I mean, because, you know, all those moments we filmed, we had no idea one of them would be the last moment. Oh my goodness. To Luke!
You gotta say thank you, Mark. Say thank you.
There you Mark. You know, he was such an incredible guy, and to the depths that I wasn't even aware of until after he passed. And I mean, I knew, you know, how amazing of a person he was, but after his death, how many people came forward and told me stories of, you know, Ian Ziering. I ran into his wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, I'm not sure, so don't quote me on anything. And she was telling me how when Ian was working, Luke would come over and take the garbage out on garbage day for her, for his buddy's family, would come over and tuck the kids in at night and leave, like never lingered, just came in, did some chores, and left. And that meant the world. To your question, I don't know, there was one moment, you know, I think it was FP's 50th birthday party. He and I just had a couple of lines to exchange, and he was always, because of how magnanimous he was, always busy. You know, his moments on set were surrounded by 50 other moments on the phone, and, you know, dealing with his life, dealing with, obviously, friends of his lives, etc. And but there was something in that moment we had that day that just felt incredible. It felt like, you know, there was something, he was so present, and there was something deeper to it. Now, that could be me reading into it now, but I'll tell you a funny story, which hopefully won't leave this room. It's kind of a stupid thing to say, but
Consider if you don't want to say it.
well, one of the last moments I saw him, we used to share trailers. Like if I was working one day and he was working and Mark Consuelos wasn't, or somebody else, you know, they wouldn't bring all the trailers out. They would just bring some. So inevitably, 2 days after I was in Luke's trailer that he had a couple days before, anyway, I get this knock on the door, and Luke's standing there, and he was like, "Can I come in?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he comes in, he's like, "I'm pretty sure I had this trailer last week." And he goes over to the sofa and pulls the cushion off, unzips it, reaches down, and pulls out the biggest bag of weed. And he's like, "Oh yeah, this is my trailer." He was the best.
You never come over and take my trash out.
You're never working, bro. You say something.
Who has a question?
He left.
What's our favorite scary movie? It's super boring. I like this movie called Scream.
That is a good one.
It's the only one I care
It's
about.
so good. I mean, are there others?
13 Ghosts? Terrible movie. Stop screaming. Horrible film. Don't look at me. Don't look at me with your
Judging eyes.
judging eyes.
I like The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Terrifying.
Jennifer killed it.
Next question.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
incredible in that.
Go ahead.
So I have a question for you and for both of you. Okay. So I saw you in He's All That, and I want to know because how it felt from playing like a teenager, like an actual high schooler in Scream, to then having to play the principal in He's All That.
Yeah.
But then also for the both of you, my favorite lines from Scream ever have been the ones that you guys have improvised. So did that just kind of come easy to you, or were you told to improvise for certain scenes?
Yeah. So the end of the movie of Scream, improvisation. So the great thing about Wes is that he would get it, God bless his soul, would get it once as written and then would want you to add.
Oh,
So he liked choices in editing. He liked the chaos, and we were good at it. And so in that moment, we got a lot of great stuff. For example, when your friend hits you with the phone and he's a fucking dick, and you call him out on him being a dick.
There's no way we could redo that. I mean, we had
No, we can't. Stay away from me. What do you think about the improvs at the end of Scream?
I'm not really good at improv, so in my mind, I don't remember improving anything, did I?
I was great at it.
He is great at it.
No, yeah.
I mean, we must have, but I don't specifically remember it. Like, I mean, that one was a pretty funny moment.
For you.
For me.
For you.
But there was another, about playing teenagers? Was that? I couldn't hear the
Yeah, I
beginning
think
of
so,
it.
yeah. About being in She's All That and then He's All That.
yes, how you went from playing like a high school student from Scream
Yeah, yeah.
to playing the principal.
So I was in He's All That, which is on Netflix right now. And I was in She's All That. Yeah, just so everyone's clear, like, my first job, I was playing an 18-year-old, I was 22. Like, I was like 30 in Scooby-Doo as a meddling teenager. So Hollywood's weird. It's not true. Yeah. Has anyone seen Outer Banks?
Yeah.
Those children are like 48 years old. They are like, it's hilarious. They're so beautiful and they're so old. I was like, wait, why are they in high school? Well, they're gonna steal something in high school. Oh no, they're supposed to be high school students. Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right.
I got one.
Yes.
I got one, Matt.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about the Wayans brothers in Scary Movie? The way that they did your scene, especially, I'm feeling a little woozy here. For both of you guys.
I loved it.
I never saw it.
All right, guys,
I thought it was hysterical. I mean, I was down for it, for sure. I think it's fun to be made fun of. To be honest, like, I mean, in that regard, it was,
Well, in that case,
it was flattering. Drink more.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's been a very long
Later.
day. Very long day. I never saw it. I also never saw Scream 3.
I didn't see 2, 3, or 4.
I saw 4. I didn't see it. It's like going over to your ex-wife's house for dinner with her new family and her handsome husband. I'm not going over there. I never saw SLC Punk 2. I don't like things that I'm not in. And I'm done. Yeah. But I will tell you Marlon Wayans is one of the funniest people on earth, bar none.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the end of the story. But it's true. He every single day would make me laugh, like every day.
He was Cuba Gooding for me.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, he's hysterical. So fact, I couldn't wait to leave set every day. My stomach hurt so bad laughing. Whoa, these are pictures of us, bro.
Do you have a Snapchat?
Wow.
Do you have a Snapchat? Do a Snapchat. Sorry, we're Snapchatting. Leave us alone.
I thought you were a TikTok trender or something.
No more. That's it.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
I want to go
Way back in the back.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Because I know all the interesting questions come from the very back of the room.
You know why? Because they were late.
The people who do not want to be here.
So you're supposed to ask questions.
Who's got the worst question in the room? I have a feeling you have a very good question over there. No? No, you don't even want me to come over there, do you?
Oh my God.
You can ask anything. Anything random, anything unrelated to movies is perfect.
Aquarius.
Easy.
Okay.
Have you ever been hurt in a film?
Have you ever been hurt in a film?
Yeah. Great question. I was in Scooby-Doo, and there was as it happens, a wall of chomping meat. And there was a hand of hot dogs, and one of them hit me in the eye. Ha ha ha, so funny. And the puppeteer gave it to me afterwards. I was also once in a movie, and I got hit with a phone. Anyone?
What movie was that?
Scream 4.
Oh. I didn't see that.
But that's the only that I think really hurt though.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been hurt. I've been hurt on stage, but not in a film.
I have a funny stage story. Can I tell you a funny stage story?
Please.
This is good because we are like changing up our shit.
Yeah.
It's really just a conversation between Matt and Skeet at this point.
Matt, when did you get hurt on stage?
So I ran a theater company when I was 19 years old, and it's a good little segue because I do like doing this. Look, if you're in this audience and you're a weirdo and or an artist or a musician or something that doesn't fit in the normal confines of the society, go do your shit. Don't chase what other people's paths are. Find your path, jump in with both feet, no fear, and make your life, because that's the only way to find joy in life. So here's the good thing about my mom and dad. My dad was a scientist. He now has dementia. It's a brutal disease, and if it's in your life, I apologize. I love you. But my mom and dad
are gonna be so mad at you.
Are we so mad at you? I'm glad you did that, because I was about to get weary. My mom and dad gave me all the love in the world and let me jump recklessly into this thing called acting. So I went to junior college for a year. I was there for 1 year. Left junior college because I was failing out. Went to acting school. Was in acting school for a year. Started my own theater company at 19 years old. And I produced my first show. And in that show, my best friend at the time, Dalton Grant, we were in a knife fight. And he thought we were doing this fight. It was like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and stabbed me like 3 times on stage. We were doing stage. And it's a tiny little, it was like this big of it was tiny.
Oh my God.
And I was like, dude, why you stabbed me? What are you doing? I was like stabbed on stage. I'm like, oh! Ow! And I act stabbed. I mean, it made no sense. And afterwards, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you look like you were expecting it. What? This is not that's to improv with the knife. And because we were idiot boys in the 90s, we had real knives. Oh no. They were dull, but it hurt. That is literally the end of the story. No trespassing zone. Anyways, but yeah, if you are not supposed to be following the path of everyone else, don't follow it. Go be amazing. Jump. Don't be scared. Do your thing. All right.
Yes.
We've got to be done. There's like 5,000 people lined up downstairs. So we're going to be very tight on time.
You have been eagerly awaiting.
Yes. Okay, so this is a two-parter. So Fat Kid Rules the World was amazing. Do you have plans on directing after? And do you have plans to do anything after acting, or is there something you want to pursue after acting, or?
Well, I love acting, to be honest. I mean, I love building furniture and gardening and stuff, and that's fun, but
You left acting to start a furniture company.
I never left. I was going to. I told everybody in the press I was.
You said in the article, I'm doing 6 more movies, then I'm going to go make they're going to make furniture.
Yeah. That's a complicated story, though.
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
I know her.
But I love what I do. Further to what he was saying earlier about, I come from 3 generations of NASCAR drivers, mechanics, crew chiefs, you name it. I'm the only one in my family to ever leave NASCAR as a business. And it did not go well when I told them my plans. That being said, how many actors are in the room? How many people? So the one thing I'll say about acting is don't hold Hollywood as your scale of success. If you love to do it, you're just as good doing it down the street here as you are doing it in a big film. It will give you just as much happiness, just as much success. So don't say, I failed because you're not in Scream 27. Do what you want to do. I write on a lot of pictures, live your dreams. I cannot think of anything more important in the world than doing what you love to do. Having relationships that you love, yes, are probably the other 50% in my opinion of life, and I'm 51 years old. I've been around long enough to have a say, finally. But you have to love what you're doing. And if you don't, it's a hard life, to be honest. I'm sure there's a lot of you here who would rather not be in the job you're in. But if you can go home every day feeling like you didn't work, you did what you enjoyed, and somebody happened to pay you for it or not pay you for it, you have succeeded. So if you're an actor, please don't put Hollywood on this, this stage. It's not, you do what you want to do it where you can do it, regardless, and that's it. Back to your question, I really couldn't think of anything I would rather do in my life, to be honest. I love it. I absolutely love it. And
Yeah, so I directed a movie called Fat Kid Rules the World, which is one of the most...
Adorable movies ever? Besides Spooner.
You have an incredible taste for movies. It's one of the highlights of my life and one of the highlights of my career, so I would love to direct again. I've been trying to direct again. It turns out they only hire one director. It's usually not me. But I'm trying. I'm trying to make movies. Thank you for asking me. Hi, yeah. By the way, that was a fucking great answer.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. You're a hard act to follow, so that means a
That
lot.
was really beautiful. Yeah. Hi.
What's your favorite food and we play cat?
My favorite food?
Favorite food?
What's your least favorite food?
Oh, least favorite food. I don't really have a least favorite. I can't stand chicken liver, but Mexican's my favorite by far. But I can't think of a least favorite. I like them all. Unless it has
What's
chicken
your
liver.
favorite food?
Mexican.
Oh,
Mexican, yeah.
I don't know. What's your favorite? Terrible choice.
What did she say?
It doesn't matter, it was garbage. I'm kidding! Shepherd's pie! Shepherd's pie! Yeah, I don't know. It's not good. I like mint ice cream. Mint chocolate chip. Yeah, hi. What's your question?
Wait.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh, yeah.
So this is for the both of you, but what were your thoughts on the Scream TV show?
Never saw it.
Never saw it, sorry.
Sorry, I'm sure it was incredible. What's your question?
What's it like to use 100% of your power?
Something about Shaggy, what's it like to use 100% of your power? Did I hear that?
That is correct, yeah. If I ever use 100% of my power, you will feel it.
Oh, Jesus.
There's a meme that went around.
Oh, okay.
So, we're close to the end, because we're going back. We're going to cut early to go rescue people sitting in a bath of heat. You already asked a question. Yeah, hi.
When you guys signed
You're so bloody in the face.
when you guys signed on to do Scream, did you think it would be this influential, like this?
Great question.
I don't, it never
Her
crossed
question
my
is,
mind.
did you think Scream would be that influential?
I mean, I can speak for Matt too. None of us ever had any idea, nor did we really care in the moment, to be honest. We were, like Matt tells the story, there was a film where there were TV stars in it, which was really rare at that time. The film was also nearly shut down after they shot Drew Barrymore's stuff. in the very beginning, Miramax wanted to pull the plug on it and never make the movie. And it took Wes and Kathy Conrad and Mariana Magdalena, is that how you say her last name? The producers and Wes put together a cut of the beginning of the movie and sent it to Miramax, and they fell in love with it and were like, yes, go make the movie, but they were ready to shut it down. To us, I mean, we were a bunch of, you know, kids, actors, like coming from various backgrounds and various, you know, skill sets and training levels and whatnot, and we just got to go into Napa Valley, California, into wine country and make this cool script, not having any idea what it would ever be. So, I mean, I think there's a lesson in that for sure. But yeah, we had no clue. And to think that it would be 25 years later and people would still be interested in the movie, that new generations would find this film and be interested in it is beyond me, to be honest. Because Matt's in it.
Larry, you're sitting up there. I just feel like you have to be able to, Larry was supposed to interview us. Unfortunately for Larry,
let's let Larry ask a question.
Larry, what is the question you think what is
How
the question
long
you
have
asked?
you thought about this question?
What if I told you everybody already asked mine?
That was his question. What if
Let's see, what was it like to work with Wes Craven? I mean,
Great question.
Listen, I'm a lifelong horror fan, as you can tell by my arms. Wes Craven is a master. And it's always nice to hear what it's like to work with the masters, Romero, Carpenter, etc. And you guys worked on maybe the last classic Wes Craven movie.
I worked with him twice, and it was two very different experiences, to be honest. Scream, his presence, his psychology, his parental nature, his joy of what we were doing, his love of all of us, the camaraderie and the team that he inspired was, you know, better than anything. It was truly remarkable, and I think we all felt safe in stretching our own limits around him and trying things new, and it was just a safe place to be. He was also very frustrated by the system he was in. He wanted to make, you know, dramatic movies. He wanted to make music of the heart forever, and you know, he was caught in this system of, you know, just do one more horror film for us and then we'll give you this. And the second time I worked with him, he was quite beleaguered by that onus that had been put on him, and he just wasn't quite there. And not to any fault of his own, he just had he knew the routine, and he knew that the fruit was not on the other side of it anymore. And it was kind of sad to see that he had kind of given up a little bit. But in the same stretch, he was so freaking happy in his life and in the world and everything else. But I saw two different directors in that time, and you know, I mean, he was an absolutely incredible influence on both of us. But yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, actors, you know, it's kind of on the screen. You can see when someone's not fully there, and you can see someone when they are fully there. And you know, he had open heart surgery since Scream, which I've had open heart surgery. He was doing crossword puzzles all day long. I do crossword puzzles. Suddenly I felt like I had a lot more to relate to him. You know, God, we shot, what year did we shoot? 96 Scream?
Yes.
And then we shot Cursed in 2003, I want to say.
Yes.
So a lot had happened in that time period, and I felt like I got to know him a lot more, to be honest, that second time around, and he's just an incredible human being.
So we're going to do two more questions, and I just want to jump on that Wes question, and then we'll go two more questions, and then we're going to go save people downstairs. So two things. So first of all, Wes Craven was an ornithologist, so he loved the study of birds. So he loves sitting in the quiet and watching birds, which is something I love sharing to people. The other thing I want you to know is that Wes Craven gave me something to hold on to when I thought I was... long story, and I'll make it short. When we were doing Scream 1, there was only one set phone. It was one phone. It was the set phone. So you need to call someone, you had to go borrow the one set phone. How crazy is that, kids? So there was a moment where I was gonna call my mom and dad because it's my mom's birthday, and and I walked up, and Wes Craven was like, "Oh, we were just talking about you." I was like, "What were you saying?" He's like, "We were just talking about the fact that you're gonna win an Academy Award someday." And I was like, "Shut up." And he's like, "No, we were." I was like, "Tell my mom that." So I picked up the phone, called my mom on her birthday, and was like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to Wes Craven." And Wes Craven got on the phone and said, "One day your son's gonna win an Academy Award." So in my life, we ebb and flow. There have been times where I never knew I would ever come back. I never knew after Scooby-Doo that I would do Descendants. I just finished Good Girls. I don't know if I'm working again. I don't know if I am what that's going to be. Is that the end of my career or is that the beginning? So these moments of insecurity, these moments of like, oh shit, you have to hold on to something that gives you hope. And Wes Craven was my hope. Because in the back of my mind, I can sit there and go, somebody believed one day that I'm going to win an Academy Award. So never underestimate the power of giving somebody just a little bit of fucking hope. It's amazing how powerful it is. So that's Wes Craven for me. We have two questions. I'm going to go one on your side and then one on my side. And my side's going to have the better question, and your side's going to have a shitty question.
Side. Who on this side hasn't?
I swear to God, get your hand down if your question sucks, I don't even trust you. If your question sucks, there will be a fist fight after this.
Is it really good? Do you want to whisper it to me?
Close your eyes. I want you to think close your eyes. Don't look at me, close your eyes. Ask yourself, does my question suck? If it does, put your hand down.
I'm pre-screening my questions.
You can't pre-screen. That's cheating.
Too late.
I don't trust you. No, you don't have a tie on. I'm going to the back. That's where I spent all my years in school.
I have faith in my question.
Your question sucks. I like you. I like your purple hair. I'm coming back. All right, what's your question?
You ready for my question?
It's not your question.
I know it's not my question. Fine. Are you ready for this then? Is everybody ready? Yeah! It's a question for each and every one of you.
What do you do to keep your mind in the present moment?
Oh, yes! Oh!
You hear that question? Put your hands down.
Oh. What do you do to keep your mind in the present moment?
Great question. Thank you.
We resign. Question again? No. That was a joke on the present.
No, that was good. The present moment.
Thank you. That's good.
That's so hard.
And that is. I mean,
So
in everyday life, I mean, I do transcendental meditation a couple times a day. That helps. But I think, you know...
You've never been sexier. You know. He's fit as a fiddle, 51, and meditates. Ooh la la. Sorry, go ahead.
You know, to me, the times I'm most in the moment are when they call rolling on set. And part of it is in the way I trained as an actor, where my attention is always on the other person standing across from me, not on me at all. And the answers for what my character wants, much like in life, are in other people. And so I'm able to put my attention off of myself more than at any other point in my life. I think that's part of why I love it so much, is like I forget about myself in those moments. Everyday life is a little more difficult, to be honest. It's kind of hard to stay in the moment all the time. There's always that bill, that thought, that need, that thing, that, you know, there's always something ticking off in your head of, I've got to do that, I can't, you know, this is just I got to be there, I got to do, so I kind of get salvation out of what we do. So if you have an answer about in the regular day, I'm all ears. I want to hear what you do to stay in the moment.
Wait, I'm right here.
Oh, he drinks. I want to hear what you do.
When I make out with my wife. What's it about? No, usually I don't have an answer. I think it's a great question. I don't have an answer. But when I'm most happiest is when I'm playing games with my friends. So I play Dungeons and Dragons. I started a Dungeons and Dragons company called Beetle and Grimm's. Feel free to buy, you know, whatever, a t-shirt. But sitting around a table in joy with my friends, the fellowship of friendship is the joy of life. So if I say to an actor, hey, I'm going to give you a commercial, would you be happy? They'd be like, oh my God, a commercial would be the best thing ever. I'm like, okay, great. They'll do a commercial, and then right after the commercial, they'll wonder when my next commercial is. And then you'll say, would you like to do a guest star? That'd be incredible. You give them a guest star. A movie. There's always want. There's always wanting more. It's not until you realize that it's actually about the journey that is where the joy lives. Not about the success, it's about the journey. So for me, the journey of playing a game is where my joy comes from. All right, last question. And I want you to know, that was a great question. We concede. Your question.
Thank you for the win.
Who's your favorite actor you played a role with? Burt Reynolds.
Who's what?
Who's your favorite actor you ever worked with?
Oh, man.
I am right here. It's so easy.
You just said Burt Reynolds, and then I am right here. I mean, it's hard to pick, to be honest, but I mean, Gary Oldman was one of the most extraordinary transformations I've seen. Jack Nicholson had some of the most incredible insights into performance that I've ever heard. But none of them had the spontaneity that he has. So it's hard to, there's no way to pick favorites.
Yeah, I will say this. I don't know if I have a favorite. I do have a favorite moment in my life. And I'm not lying. I think that Scream is one of the greatest moments of my career because we were young and full of hope and had no expectation of success. And in that was born this energy that translated on the screen and made us friends for life. So thank you for your question. It was a great question. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time and for supporting this con and for supporting us. So thank you. Huzzah.